So today's lesson is on multi-step equations with fractions and decimals. All the steps are going to go ahead and be the same. The only difficult part is when we go ahead and divide and multiply fractions. That's where we get a little more difficult. Okay? So our first problem here is 2/3 n minus 6 is equal to 22. You're going to go ahead and draw your line down your equal sign. We can see that we have our multiplication and then our subtracting of 6. Remember, it's opposite of order of operations, so we want to go ahead and get rid of our 6 first. So we're going to do plus 6, bring down our 2/3 n, and that equals 28. Okay. Now because I have multiplying by 2/3, my next step is going to be dividing by 2/3. So that's going to cancel those each other out. Okay. And when I do 28 divided by 2/3, my keep, change, flip rule comes into effect in that one. If you want to use a calculator on these two, you can. So we have 28 times 3 over 2. Go ahead and do 28 times 3 is 84. And then over 2, which is going to equal to 42. Okay. So 42, and then bring down our n. So n is equal to 42. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this now in to check to see how I did. Let me say 2/3 times 42 minus 6 is equal to 22. Alright, so we turn 42 into a fraction, multiply across. 2 times 42 is 84, divided by 3, minus 6. 84 divided by 3 is going to equal to 28. And then 28 minus 6 is equal to 22. So 22 equals 22 works. Alright, your next one, 2/3 times n minus 6 equals 3. Notice how n minus 6 is inside of our parentheses, so we're going to have to do some distributive property as well first. So let's draw our line down the middle. So we do 2/3 m, and then we have 2/3 times 6 there, or minus 6. And if we do 2 times 6 is 12, divided by 3 is 4. So minus 4. Bring down our 3. Okay. We're going to do plus 4. Bring down your 2/3 m. And you get 7. And again, I'm going to go ahead and do, I can either divide by 2/3 here if I want, or I can go ahead and actually, remember dividing is the same thing as multiplying when you flip it. So instead of dividing by 2/3, my other option is to times 3 over 2, which is the same thing here as times 3 over 2. So instead of dividing by the fraction, I'm multiplying by its reciprocal. These would cancel each other out because they are multiplicative inverses, and that is equal to m, and then 7 times 3 is 21 over 2. This can be simplified to 10.5. Okay. So m is equal to 10.5. So let's go ahead and check to see how we did here. So I do 2/3, and when I'm going to do 10.5 right here, minus 6 over 3. Go ahead and solve what's inside my parentheses first. 10.5 minus 6 is 4.5. And there's 2/3 equals 3. So now I have 2/3 times 4.5. I need to go ahead and change my 4.5 into a improper fraction. So I do 2/3 times, and this should be 9 over 8 equals 3. Multiply across. 2 times 9 is 18. Oops, I'm sorry, this should be 2. So 9 over 2. 2 times 9 is 18, and 3 times 2 is 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3, so 3 equals 3. So yes, that works. Alright, number 3. 20 plus 0.15x is equal to 37.25. So I'm working with my decimals now. Same rules apply. So I do the subtraction addition first, so let's get rid of our 20. So minus 20. Bring down my 0.15x, and I get 17.25 when I subtract those. Divide by 0.15. and I get x and 0.15 if I need to do it over the side here. Let's do this. We'll do it in the check spot. We can do 17.25, 0.15. Bring my decimal over twice. Same with this. Goes up top here. 15 goes into 17 once. 15 goes into 22 once. Bring down my 5. 15 goes into 75 5 times, and I get a 0 there, so my answer is 115. Let's go ahead and check to make sure it works. So I do 20 plus 0.15 times 115 is equal to 37.25. Now I need to get, if I don't have a calculator, I have to go ahead and solve this. So I do 115 times 15, because I'm multiplying 0.15 as if there were no decimals. Go ahead and add all this up, and I get 1,725. Move my decimal place over back twice to get 17.25. Go ahead and combine these two, and I get 37.25 is equal to 37.25. So yes, it does work out. Alright, so here's a few problems for you to go ahead and try on your own. Make sure you follow all the steps there. And if you have trouble or questions, you can go ahead and check your work right here as well. So you should have paused your video. Alright, number 1, you should get an answer that k is equal to 50. In the very end, you should have a negative 21 equals negative 21. Number 2, you should have x is equal to 4. 2.4 equals 2.4 for your check. And then number 3, you should get an answer of x is equal to negative 3 1/8. And we should get an answer of 3/4 equals 3/4 for your check.